All right, happy New Year's, everybody. So a lot of people hit me up. They want to know about financing, like how you're able to get so many vehicles under your personal finance. And I'm gonna give you the breakdown of how to do that. But first, I'm gonna say two things. First, the disclaimer is, if you planning on doing anything, any major purchase within the next couple of years, I wouldn't advise this to you, because this is going to pretty much lock up your debt to income ratio. So keep that in mind. If you're planning on buying a house in the next couple of years or a personal vehicle, you might want to hold off on doing this and get that done first and go ahead and do it. The second thing is, I'm not gonna act like I'm the originator of this technique, because I learned it from watching dozens of videos just like you watching now on YouTube before I jumped into Turo. And that I learned a whole lot before I even made my jump. I watched videos for months and did my homework on it. And this particular technique here in financing vehicles, I think the guy name was Matty J. He's like one of the top Turo guys in the Atlanta area. Man, he has, I think, like 100 cars or something. And he actually financed 17 cars in one day. And another guy I follow on Instagram, if I think of his name, I mention it, but he also gave some scoop on how to get this taken care of. But basically, what you want to do is understanding credit. First of all, you got to have good credit or decent credit to even pull this off, where you can finance a vehicle. Anytime you finance something, get a new credit card or what have you, it's not going to get reported for 30 days. So within that 30 days, if you finance a vehicle at such and such dealer and go to another dealer in the same day, they would not know that you purchased the vehicle at the previous dealer. Now, the setback on this is the hard inquiries. That's another reason you want to hold. If you plan on making a major purchase, you want to hold off on doing this, because this is going to depend on how many vehicles you want. This is going to get some hard hits on your credit and lower your credit score. But one play is, I've used Capital One Auto numerous times over the last 20 years. I probably paid off about 3-4 vehicles. But the first play is with Capital One Auto. You go to CapitalOneAuto.com and you click on Get Pre-Qualified. Excuse me, I'm sipping my coffee. You sip on Get Pre-Qualified, and if you get approved for a pre-qualified, you in the business. So basically, after you get pre-qualified through Capital One Auto, you can choose a dealership, or either just look for certain make, model, year that you want, and it'll give you the dealership. Or if you like to deal with a particular dealership, you can pick it through their website and look at their inventory of the vehicles and pick out the one you want. And once you see the vehicle you want, you call the dealer and make sure that it's still there and it hasn't been purchased or about to be purchased, and let them know, hey, could you set this vehicle to the side and give them the VIN number? I'm on the way, I'll be there shortly. And they'll set it to the side for you. But so that's pretty much. And once you get to the dealership with Capital One Auto, you showing your pre-qualification letter, and whatever vehicle you pick you're gonna already know the payment for that vehicle and whatnot, and you give it to the salesman and they go pull the vehicle and let you see it. Now, although Capital One Auto has pre-qualified you, this is where you're gonna get a hard hit. The dealership is going to pull a hard copy of your credit for Capital One Auto. And just to pretty much validate what Capital One Auto seen in the pre-qualification. And then you sign, ain't no negotiation on prices because it's already been settled through Capital One. That's one benefit. Ain't no back and forth negotiating. You sign out, of course, the dealership is gonna try to do add-ons because, you know, that's how they make their money. You know, they're going to try to do add-ons. Hey, you want this, you want that. Now, me personally, I always get the warranty because I don't want to have to deal with the whole maintenance nightmare and issues or things going wrong with the vehicle. I want to be able to just drive it up in the vehicle. Hey, this was wrong, and I know it's covered. So I always get like 75,000 miles of coverage, which takes up the payment from what I had already agreed to Capital One. That's something I like to do for all my vehicles. But some of you may have connections and whatnot, and you don't need to do that, or you comfortable with vehicles or want to put the time in. That's just me personally. So you sign all the documents, you're good to go. But here's the glitch. So one, remember, Capital One Auto. Now, let me say this first. So after the dealership run a hard pull on your credit, Capital One Auto gives them the opportunity to finance you if you want to finance with them. So, and this is how you're going to beat the system. Instead of using your pre-qualification with Capital One Auto, after that dealership pulls their hard copy, you can use their finance and finance the vehicle through them if they can beat the deal that Capital One or match the deal that Capital One do. You want to do that. Take the dealership's offer and get the vehicle through them. But here's the catch. You didn't use your Capital One Auto pre-qualification. So you can go to another dealer, another dealer, another dealer. The guy I learned this from, I think his name was Matty J, but I think he did 17 vehicles in one day. Now, you want to get them out, you want to do it as many times, and you don't have to do it all in one day, because remember, you got 30 days. You got 30 days to do this. You could just keep using your Capital One pre-qualification to go up in the dealer and let the dealer match it. You can do this many times you want. I'm going to say 29 days before it hits your credit. But remember the hard hits. You're going to tear your credit apart with the hard hits. But it's a play. It's a gamble. So you want to get the amount of vehicles you know that you can handle. And also you don't want to overextend yourself and whatnot and get too many vehicles and things go wrong and you just can't handle it. So I didn't chose to go out and do like a dozen or so. But my whole intent is, like right now I have 3 vehicles. My whole intent is, and I have an LLC, I have other business ventures as well, but I want to phase these vehicles into my LLC and get them up under my LLC name and get them off and under my personal credit at some point. That's the play with that I'm going to be going after in 2023. But that's how you can finance numerous vehicles. And sometimes people go in, if you got the gift of gab, go into a small dealership that, you know, pretty much make their own decision and let them know, hey, I'm a Turo host. I rent these vehicles out. And sometimes they'll give you as many as you want. Some people have done that. But that is how you finance numerous vehicles. If you got any questions, anything, just shoot me a message. I know that was pretty quick. I try to keep these videos pretty quick, but I hope that helps somebody out. Capital One Auto, get pre-qualified, go to the dealership, let them match it, take their deal, go to another dealership, let them match it, take their deal, another dealership. But remember, hard hit for each one. Let me know what you think. One last thing before I go. Keep this in mind too. So once you get yourself established under Turo And I run all my revenue through my LLC, my business bank account. Even if you don't have a business account and you running all of your funds through your personal checking account, when you can increase your debt to income ratio, because now after you got started, Turo is a source of income, and you can say that you're an independent contractor. So when you're an independent contractor, 1099 employee, they look at your bank statements versus asking for check stubs because you don't have check stubs. And that Turo income is going to get included with whatever income you have going on, whether you're working a regular 9 to 5 and doing this on the side, got other business, whatnot. And that's how you're going to increase your debt to income ratio to allow you to be able to get more vehicles. So even though you've pretty much knocked up your credit with hard inquiries, you still can come back and get more vehicles in the next few months if you're doing really well, because you've increased your debt to income ratio. So that's another play as well. Every time I think I'm done, I think of something else. But I left out one important thing is you got to think about car insurance. Of course, if you got full coverage, the dealership is not going to require you to add the vehicle while you're there. You just got to add it within the next 24 hours or so. So the dealership is not going to be a part of you getting the vehicle covered through your insurance. But unless you have fleet, where you have an LLC and it's qualified, set up to be a rental car fleet, you can do fleet insurance and add your vehicles through that. But most people like me, or people that, when you're starting off, you starting off with your personal credit. Now, I have 4 vehicles under my personal credit. After I added the first one, I got my personal, which is this one. But after I added a second vehicle, they didn't give me any issues. I was with State Farm. I added a third vehicle. They started asking questions like, who's gonna be the driver? And I would tell them something like, I got a couple of daughters that don't have their license yet. I'm getting the vehicles for them. Once they, get their license and earn it, I'm gonna turn it over to them. So I don't have any additional drivers right now. That worked for that point at State Farm. I added the 4th vehicle. That's when they really, really gave me a tough time. And pretty much insisted that I add additional drivers. But I end up switching from State Farm. I don't want to say what company I'm at right now, but I end up switching companies, which you want to do every 6 months anyway, because you're gonna get a better rate most of the time. It's beneficial to switch, but I save probably about $200-300 a month, and I was able to add on, add all 4 vehicles. But they gave me a really hard time as well, like even more so than State Farm. Although I was saving money, they went as far as to want to know who all is in my household. I only have my daughter, who is 21 and don't have a license yet. Don't ask me why, she just scared to do it. But I was like, I don't have this. I'm just buying this vehicle for my kids. Once they earn it, get the license, I already have them for them. But they weren't hearing that, so I had to sign some documents and turn over to them the additional people in the home, which was my one daughter that's in the home with me. And they tacked on an extra $75 to the 6-month plan, saying it's a uninsured motorist thing. It made me sign documents saying that, no one else in the household, no one else was going to be driving these vehicles. But it was intense, but I got it done. So, but I know going forth, it's going to be an issue. But there are options. There's this company, and another issue is these insurance companies are becoming aware of companies like Turo, Lyft, Uber, and some of them don't even deal with you if you're doing that, and some gonna charge you more. They've set up now where they're gonna charge you more and allow you to do it. But the play is, you're always looking to save money. You don't want to pay more if you don't have to. So you kind of do it on the low. Most is what most people do. But there are options. This is this company called Lula, Lula, that kind of works hand in hand with Turo and CarSync, and you can add your vehicles under that for fleet insurance. I'm gonna have to do that eventually until I get these vehicles up on the LLC, especially if I add another vehicle in the next couple of months, which I am looking into. But they just have some requirements, such as the vehicles can't be driving for, it can only be driving for a certain amount of miles in between rides. Because basically this company Lula is gonna cover the vehicles during the time. They charging you a little cheaper because they're covering the times in between the rides, because Turo is gonna provide the insurance during the rides. So that's how they're able to charge you cheaper. But the rule is you can only drive, I think it's like 300 miles a month per vehicle, and they assuming that that's to go get maintenance, tires, or pick up drop-offs and what have you should fall under 300. So basically, long story short, they don't want you driving the vehicle, which I don't anyway. I don't drive my Toro vehicles other than for business, for personal. I'm in my personal vehicle. But that's something to consider as well when you're getting into this. I'm pretty sure I'm not covering everything, but I wanted to make sure I hit the most important stuff.